Sweat. Hey, welcome to Too Hard, Too Fast podcast, where in this podcast, a lot of guests have described being a guest on this podcast as a bar conversation. And today we're actually doing that because we're at Chifladas bar with one of the owners here at Chifladas, Natasha. Thank you for having me here.
Of course.
So hopefully this is a bar conversation. At the end of it, well, technically we're at a bar, so we don't have any.
We might be able to take a shot later. Let me ask my owner. Maybe.
But we're gonna have fun with it. The reason I'm intrigued with this bar, it's here in San Antonio, Texas. It's on the west side of San Antonio. I am not from San Antonio, but since moving to San Antonio, I spent most of my life here on the west side. So that intrigued me. Also the fact that all the owners, they're all female. And, they had some struggles coming through, and I'm kind of want to talk about their story, getting it together, because I feel like that's really, a good story to share. But, and hopefully at the end, we become friends, and it's a bar conversation between friends. No?
Sounds good.
I'm trying to force myself. I'm trying to force this friendship.
He's trying to get VIP. He's trying to get VIP, guys.
But sit back, buckle up. Let's go. Too hard, too fast. Ponte el cinturón.
Welcome to Too Hard, Too Fast.
Welcome back
to Too Hard,
Too Fast.
Anything that rolls downhill, man.
I mean, old habits die hard, right?
It's the podcast by the people, for the people.
Well, I'm going too hard, too fast.
We are double fisted on that ass.
Only here, too hard, too fast. Let's do it.
Welcome back to Too Hard, Too Fast, where being Chiflada is a feeling.
I'm feeling it, baby.
So welcome everyone to Too Hard, Too Fast podcast.
That's right. Where we go off the rails and George has to worry about it. So here we go.
For the podcast of the century.
Cheers.
So, Natasha, when you started this bar, actually, why Chifladas? Where does the name come from?
So everyone always asks this because there's not really, when there's a Spanish word that really doesn't make sense in English, it's not really translated. And obviously I'm the Tex-Mex of all of us. I was raised not speaking Spanish, but like partially speaking Spanish. So I know like most things in Spanish, but I could kind of get by. It's embarrassing, but it is what it is. Melanie, she grew up speaking Spanish. Her parents were from Mexico. But Chifladas.
We're Mexico or we're from Mexico?
Oh, no. I'm sorry. They live here now, but they are from Mexico. Oh, okay. Chifladas came as like a joke. Me and Melanie, one of my business partners, were joking about, man, what should we call it? We're going to do this. What it should be called? And we were just talking. Well, my dog's name is Chiflado. And he so in a sense, it's just being like
spoiled. That's what I translate.
So, okay. So everyone translates as spoiled.
Right. Is it?
But it's more like a feeling to me.
Oh, okay.
Like Chiflado is just like cute, kind of annoying, but you like them. But you're kind of like, yeah. I like them still, no matter what. They're just, like you're attracted to them. Yeah. It's an attraction thing for me, in my opinion. That's what I like about just feeling Chiflada. Just like, oh, you're cute. You're walking around like you're hot shit. You know what I mean? Just kind of that. And then people don't like it, but they do like it. It's weird.
Yes.
But it was a joke, and we were like, man, what if we called it Chifladas? And we were just like, nah, that's not. I bet you it's not available. Like in San Antonio, there's no way.
How could it not?
How could it be available?
How could it be available?
Yeah. So we joked about it, and then we told our third partner, like, man, that's such a good name. Like it just really is. Like everyone that's kind of was born and raised here, they know what it is. And it's just kind of a feeling you feel like when you're around, or how you're feeling good about yourself. You're like, oh, I'm just Chiflada, whatever.
Well, I was kind of curious how you would translate it, or what you were treated to.
It's very weird.
Because, people ask me all the time, they're like...
it's like bratty or spoiled. I'm like, in a sense.
But is it? But also, I use it to like, even my wife was like, oh, you're being Chiflada?
Yeah.
But she's not like she's being spoiled because, I don't have much to spoil her with. But
it's a feeling, I think, for me. It's just a feeling you feel like... I don't know, like when I feel Chiflada, I'm just like, you have attention and people are just kind of looking at you, but you're also like not throwing it out there, but you also kind of are.
Yeah.
It's a feeling you get.
But then if you're a kid and you're being a chiflada or a chiflado,
then you're kind of being spoiled. Yeah, exactly.
Or being travieso.
Yeah, it's gradually like changed when you get a different age. But also like it's a name that everyone like feels good about.
Yeah.
Like I like my dog's name Chiflado. You talk to your boyfriend or your girlfriend, you're like, oh, you're just being chiflado, yeah, already. Like you play. It's a playful name, and people like it.
You give a gift to somebody. I think it happens a lot in the Hispanic culture where you give it to somebody and they love it so much. Like, chiflado.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we get it. Relax. Right. Yeah, it's very much that word. So we joked about it and we were on the phone being like, well, what if we do that? Like, that's a great name. But they were like, there's no way it's not there. So I had another friend of mine in the industry. He's another bar owner. Was like, you know what? I'm gonna check. Like, I'm gonna check for you guys, see if it's there. And by luck, it was not. No one had the name. In San Antonio, we were like, that makes no sense. Yeah. Like, there's chismosas, there's chingonas, but there was no chifladas. No one had that name on there. No LLC out there in San Antonio. So I remember him giving me a call and being like, hey, get up. I know you worked last night. Go get that name now. I went to the city and I remember waking up around like 10 and getting there. And there's two ladies up there and they were like, what's this going to be? We're like, oh, we're going to be a bar. They're like, oh my God, that's so cute. We want to go. And I'm like, it's that feeling of like, wow, that's a really good name. Yeah. And I have like a lot of men that be like, man, that's a good name. We're like, right?
It is a good name.
So everyone really like enjoys it. And I know it's really cool to have.
I feel like you cannot have a chiflados.
Yeah.
Like it just doesn't seem like.
You could be chiflado here too.
You can be chiflado here, but you just can't have like a place called chiflado.
Right. It doesn't
give it that
it doesn't that feeling.
The feeling you were talking. And then when you walk in here and I looked around, it does give you that feeling like of a chiflada, like getting your attention. You just feel nice. You feel
nice. You feel good. But it's also like it's like heritage. Also, like you feel like real like, oh, it's cute.
At home almost.
You're at home. Yeah. That's another big thing about like where like I've had we've only been open almost 2 weeks now, which is crazy. And everyone keeps like all the feedback we've gotten is I feel like I'm at my abuelita's house. I feel like I'm at my tia's backyard. Like we're just hanging out, having a good time with your primos. You're up to like 5 a.m. hanging out, but except we get a cocktail here,
Exactly.
Get a cocktail here and meet like some, we're friends with our neighbors now. Like talking on that, we had to do a lot of groundwork to get to this spot too. So,
well, speaking of the neighbors, like I know you have or you've had already in just the 2 weeks, and I see that on your social medias that you have planned for like music. Mm-hmm. Do the neighbors have they said anything about that yet?
So
they better not.
Most of them enjoy it, I'm sure. So to get to this spot in general, we had to rezone. This was a neighborhood, obviously. We rezoned it to a commercial, which took like 5 months, and it was stressful and hard and exhausting. But we had to do a lot of groundwork, a lot of legwork. We literally had to knock on everybody's door in a 20-mile radius, like around the entire, like I'm talking back there, up here, down the street, the neighbors, the businesses, kind of all that, and like literally door-to-door knocking. Hey, this is who we are. This is what we want to do. For the most part, we got a lot of people like, oh, we're excited. That's great. And there's in other parts we're just like, no, we don't want to talk to you.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but it's understandable. Like, and not to be wrong, this is an older neighborhood. Yeah. There's a lot of older people and elderly here, and we want to respect that too. But also, it's just like, this has been a dream of mine for a while. Mm. I've been in the industry for a long time. I also worked at Lighthouse, which is, I love that bar. My brother works there. He's a bartender there. That's a neighborhood bar also. And it's just
here?
Yes, here. It's actually down the street on Cincinnati. It's right across from Woodlawn Lake.
Oh, okay.
And that's like kind of where I'm like, man, neighborhood bars are great. It kind of brings community to everybody. Everyone like, they do a lot of community stuff there too. And it's so great to see like kind of just every age range, not just your normal, 21 or, in their 30s. It's like when we opened, we had like your tios and tias out here, like 60s and 70s. I'm just like, what? They're here. This is crazy. And then you have your 21 or 25-year-olds, and then you have your 30-year-olds, like it's just a well-rounded range of age range that come here, which we wanted.
Yeah. And when you mentioned that when you were going knocking on people's doors and asking, I was wondering if the people that kind of pushed you away, or not, or in that sense maybe, were they, the fact is that a lot of us just don't want to be bothered. It's like, hey, we don't care what you do, just don't bother me.
Some was that. Some was like, I don't want to talk. Who cares? Whatever. But other was just like, I understand it because everyone thinks of bar and they're just like rowdy, necios, bad stuff happening, shootings, in which I know, like I said, I've worked in the industry since I was 17. I started as a cocktail waitress when I was in high school. So I've been through like the whole up and downs and all the craziness. I've had to call cops on people. I've had to deal with fights. I've had to deal with kind of that rugged stuff about it. And don't get me wrong, it's not that it's never not going to be there. That's just what it comes with. It comes with the territory. But we want to push away from that we do want to be more than just a bar. Like, we are a place to come enjoy and have a good time, for bachelorette parties or, someone getting married and they want to come and have a nice cocktail. And also, on that note, we are a cocktail bar. So the Westside doesn't have that.
What does that mean?
Like a cocktail bar where you could get like more upscale drinks. Like a Mexican martini. That's what we have here, right? There's a lot of people like, we don't even know what that is. Or people they're like, oh, I haven't got that in forever. I haven't been able to have that in forever. So, neighborhood bars are more like one-on-ones, Jack and Cokes and vodka waters and, popping open beers, which I love. Obviously,
Right.
I've worked in it forever. But also, we're kind of giving you more of a little upscale like drink that you may have never tried before and you might like it.
Interesting.
It's more of educating also people, like there's more out there than just, a Jack and Coke or a Crown and 7.
Does that and if I step over the line, let me know, but does that name cocktail bar also come with a price tag, like a little higher price tag?
So that's very big for me. I am a dive bar girl through and through. Like, I could go to a bar like this, I'm cool.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to be dressed up. Like, don't get me wrong, I can do it.
Yeah.
She could do both. But I'm more comfortable like looking like this and like not having to get all glammed up all the time. But it does a little bit. It brings a different kind of scale. But at the same time, what I wanted when my thought when we had this place, my business partner was like, we need a cocktail bar. We want a little bit more higher scale. And I'm like, I totally agree with that. But I also want to be a place where, hey, you don't have to break the bank.
Okay.
I want we have $7 combos, a beer and shot. That's great.
That's
like,
perfect.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You got $20, you've had a hard day, you've had a long week, you're broke till payday, you could still come in, get a beer and a shot for $7 and even tip a buck or two. You know what I mean? I wanted to be able to play on both ends because I love a good cocktail, but I also all right, I had that $15 cocktail, which ours aren't 15, but if I've gone to a place, I'm like, oh, I wanted that $15 cocktail, that looks amazing, and then I'm like, you know what, give me a well vodka water, $5, no
Yeah.
problem. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I could do both, and I want it to be that same way. If you want to have that high scale, but also you're like, all right, cool, I tried it, now I'm gonna just get my regular.
Get the regular.
My Tecate Light.
So,
and
yeah,
my
because
tequila shot.
I like both. Like sometimes I want to be a chiflada and I'll get myself.
Yeah, your little
something.
cute little drink real quick.
Yeah,
I
but
see that.
other times I'm down for the vodka water or just give me a beer and then I'm just gonna go have one and go
real quick and go home.
Yeah,
Then that's what we've seen a lot too for happy hours. So we don't call it happy hour yet because we don't really have. We just, like we said, we just open. We're getting our feet wet, trying to figure out what works, what doesn't.
Yeah.
But yeah, $7 for a beer and shot is not too much to ask for. And then in the economy and what's going, all the prices going up, and after COVID and all that stuff, we have to kind of learn what makes you money, what doesn't make you money, kind of stuff like that. You also want to we don't want to get too low where no one's making money. You know what I mean? We open this place to not just make money, but also to kind of set a bar of what it should be. You know what I mean?
And from what I've seen, and I got to the West Side in 2005. I left it for maybe 5 years, and then I came back. But I've seen a lot of change, and there's a lot of change, and that's still happening. And not all of it is good. Sometimes it feels like they are pushing out the good people that just can't afford it.
Yeah.
But
that's another thing too. We don't want to push out anybody.
Exactly.
I don't want to be pushed out of my own home. You know what I mean? And I know.
Well, that's what I was like. You're from San Antonio.
I'm born and raised
the
in
West
San Antonio. So I grew up in this neighborhood, not necessarily in these streets, but a little bit down more John McMullen area. Melanie did. My mom also. Well, my mom's also one of my business partners. So we kind of just grew up. I grew up kind of everywhere in San Antonio: the East Side, Northwest Side, the West Side, kind of just all around. But my grandma lived on 36. My grandpa lived off of Waverly. So this area is just home.
Yeah.
And why not better to bring a business by Latina women in the heart of the West Side that, you know, kind of like knows this area.
Yeah, in El Hueso.
Yeah, and my mom works for Edgewood. She does a lot of community, takes care of a lot of people. You know, she's lived it, she's done it, and she's a police officer. So that's a whole thing, you know, that we have to deal with also. And this is it's a rough neighborhood sometimes too. So
she can take care of business.
She can take care of business, you know.
So and I don't want to break it up into like west sides of San Antonio, but you know, I think San Antonio has sides of San Antonio. I think San Antonio has a lot of great things in different sides of San Antonio. But of course, I do feel a little more attached to the West Side just because this is where I first came from. When I came to college, I came to college here at Our Lady of the Lake.
Okay.
And so then
So this is like your norm.
Yeah. So what I want for the West Side is I don't want it to be left behind.
Right.
Because a lot of, you know, all the other sides are getting upgrades and things like that. I also wanted to be in the up and coming changes, but I don't want it to push out the good people, you know, the elderly people that do live here, and you know, I have cameras on my house, but I don't really need them because my neighbors are watching.
Right. Yeah, no,
the old ladies and old men are like,
all the time.
Yeah. So if anything happens, so there's a lot of good people here in the West Side, but so it's good to see bars like this or places like this opening up, changing things for the better.
For the better. Like that, like I said, I know that was going to be a big issue. I'm sure a lot of people have talked about it. Like, just like, oh, well, you're just part of gentrification. And I'm just like, well, that's partially true. But at the same time, it's like, we're not from somewhere else. We're not from Austin. We're not from California. We're not someone with a lot of money. We're someone that worked our butts off to do it in the same side of town that we grew up on. And we're not pushing anybody out. We don't want to push anybody out. That's not what we want. Like we had a soft opening, it was just family and friends, but also people from the neighborhood came through, and I mean, old men that are like in their 70s, like they walked from, you know, literally they're like, we walked here, and I'm like, oh, that's great, and they were like, Mija, this is amazing, like this is beautiful, you know, we really love it. And they were just like blue collar, hardworking men. You could tell they've been in the sun all day, exhausted, still working, you know, in their 70s, like in the sun. And they were just so supportive, and it was nice to feel that, because I'm sure there's the other side that's just like, nah, we don't need that. That's bad for us and blah, blah, blah. But at the same time, it's like, why don't everyone deserve nice things? We deserve nice things too. You know what I mean? Y'all deserve nice things too. And I feel like that's what we're kind of bringing. Yeah. Just like, you know, like I said, more a little bit of educational, like on cocktails, right? Like some of these people are like, I've never heard of that. I'm like, cool, we'll make it for you. This is going to be amazing. You're going to love it. And they're like, this is great, you know, stuff like that. And like, that's what we want to be. We want to be a part of the community and just
to bring people together, like not just to get people like feeling good.
But but to bring people together of all different ages.
Because from what it looks like on your social medias, it looks like people are gathered, like almost like a backyard party.
Exactly. So, everyone's like, I feel like I'm at a house. I feel like I'm at a house party. I'm like, I love house parties. Back in the day, I used to throw them a lot. Not so much anymore, but I love a good house party, and it does feel like that. And it feels just like, home. Yeah. And comfortable. And like it's hot outside, and we're still sitting out there sweating, but we're drinking a beer next to it. You know what I mean? And we're just like,
man, a nice cold beer when it's hot, it doesn't matter. No?
Exactly. Yeah, you know, like you're like, man, it's hot out here, but you're like still drinking a beer. You're like, all right, whatever.
And what's crazy, I guess, have you seen any like from the competition around? Because there's a bar on the other side of the street that's also, you know, they've been on Too Hard Too Fast as well.
Jaime's Place?
Jaime's Place. I wasn't gonna name them because I was like,
no, we love Jaime.
Because they're not paying me, but I do like Jaime. I do like Jaime.
No, Jaime's Place is great. Yeah. I was just there yesterday. I was there yesterday.
Okay, I was gonna say
they had a mercado yesterday, and one of my best friends was vending. But when we first got the place, and actually it was like real, like before any of this stuff was here, when it was just a floor and some white walls. We went over there and introduced ourselves. Okay. And like, hey, we just want you to know that we're going to be neighbors, and, you know, we are going to have liquor. You know, I used to go there before I owned this place. Yeah. You know, like it was just a neighborly thing to do. I'm always about, like, I've been to multiple shows there, you know, paid cover, gone there, enjoyed it. So I'm all about sharing the wealth. Like, I want everyone to make money.
Yeah, that's
what it's about for me.
Thinking, like, does it come back and forth?
Because it does, because I saw they had mercado. They closed a little bit earlier on, like during the week. We don't. And the people were just kind of walking through and through, which is super cool.
Yeah.
Like I said, everyone, there's enough for everyone to go around. You want to
Yeah.
make money? Let's make money. What I want to do, like, eventually is, like, have a little West Side, you know, like, little bus, you know, Jaime's place here,
yeah.
Lighthouse, our friends Dulces Sueños on Fredericksburg, you know, we're all, like, you know, small business owners, you know, from San Antonio, want to just kind of having the same kind of vision.
I like
So-
me some Dulces Sueños too.
Yeah, me too. Their butternut coffee, oh my God, obsessed.
I like the Saturday morning cartoons with the extra shots of espresso.
Yeah.
But that would be cool, a little bus going around, and
Yeah.
then they can just drop me off at my
Yeah,
house.
right? I'm like, how much extra you got to pay for a weekend?
It's on the way. I'm on the way.
There has to be some way to figure that out, I'm sure. But yeah.
But I love Jaime, and I guess so it's good to see them coming back and forth. There's another place that serves beer really close to Jaime that I definitely won't mention because, you know, that one, it doesn't, to me, doesn't feel like part of the West Side. It just seems like they got there, and you know, maybe I'm gonna edit this out. Maybe I should. I don't know, but it just, that's I guess where I'm coming from with that idea is that this place I can see, you know, this is my first time here as we're recording. I plan to come back for that combo.
Yeah, please do.
But I've been to Jaime's, and sitting here, you know, getting to know you, it definitely does feel like home. It feels like very welcoming. Now I've gone to that other place, and it doesn't feel.
There's a
same.
feeling. There's a feeling
that's not that they just don't have.
with the name, with the way you feel when you're here. Like I'm telling, that's all the feedback I've gotten was like, it feels like home. It feels like your family's backyard. And that's like, that makes me feel like I'm at home because I love that feeling of being at my, you know, I remember being at my Tia Melia's when we were kids and all your cousins are running around and your tias and tias and your mom and dad are drinking over there with everybody and they're just hanging out till 3 a.m. and kids don't go to sleep on the weekend because it's summertime, you know, stuff like that. And like that feeling is so comforting. And that's like the feeling that, the feeling I get when people tell me that, I'm just like, yeah, we hit it.
So what is that feeling knowing that it's an actual place now, but it took you so long to open it, and or at least just talk about some of the struggles other than knocking on people's doors.
We to be fair, we had a lot of help. Like a lot of people in the community. One of he was the chair of the neighborhood association, Mr. Falan. He came up to us, met us, and was like, "Hey, I would like to walk the street with you. You know, like, I want to help you guys out. I think it's, you know, I'm proud to be in this neighborhood. I think this is good for the neighborhood. You know, a lot of people just reached out. Like Tony Siestas, they let us have our fundraiser there to raise money to like. We really didn't have a lot of help financially. Like, we didn't get, you know, loans and all this stuff. It was more just like, I mean, literally off our back.
And that's crazy to hear from me because I'm thinking I've always thought that's crazy for me to hear because I've always thought as the bar industry as very cutthroat. Like, I'm not gonna help the other bar.
Believe me, there's 100% of that. Yeah. But at the same time, I worked for the St. Mary's Strip for almost 9 years, and you know, everyone becomes a family. You know, because the people that work for you are your bread and butter. They're the reason why these things function. They're the ones that get orders in. They're the ones that, you know, talk to your people and keep people to stay there, you know, and it's more of a community, at least where I've worked. I've just been lucky. I've worked for a lot of mom and pops more than like big, what's the word?
Corporation.
Corporation company, like that are different, you know, a different kind of, like I've always been a mom and pop girl. Obviously those come with their own struggles and you learn and stuff like that, but kind of taught me the way to like what I want to do here, you know, like how you treat people, how, you know, you train people, how you want your place to look like, and how people talk about you when they're not around, you know, stuff like that. So a lot of the owners I know, like, were like, hey, like, that's awesome, you know, we know you've worked with us for this long, you want to go out and do your thing, that's amazing. You know, I had a lot of help in that sense, where you know, they were just like, hey, you have any questions, let me know.
Yeah.
Jaime was the same way. Like when we went to go introduce ourselves, Jaime was like, hey, if you have any questions, please let me know. It's, you know, it's kind of hard out there. You know, it's hard to like do the things like, I didn't know anything about the city. You know, it was like going back to school all over again. I went Incarnate Word. I graduated from there. I felt like I was back in school all over again, learning and asking questions and all on the internet and doing research and figuring out this and that and codes and this and that. And I was like, this is like a different language.
Yeah, I bet.
So being able to ask some people, hey, do you know about this? Or what do I need? Or who do I need to ask this question about? Or who do I need to contact? A lot of people were willing. So that was really awesome.
That's good, because I think that's the hardest part, is figuring out who you need to ask the right questions to.
Yeah.
Not more so because, the drive is there. I can see that you have
Right.
the drive to want to learn, to want to do.
Right.
But sometimes what stalls people is, who do I ask? Like, I don't know anybody. I have this idea.
Right.
But then are you worried, or are you ever worried that somebody might steal your idea?
I feel like for me, just being in the industry, it is very cutthroat, especially as a woman. I'll tell you that. If someone wanted to, they would. I think that's just with anything, any idea. You just kind of have to work harder and faster. I mean, honestly, and to be fair, even going through like the zoning process was one of the hardest things I've ever done. It took about almost 5 months to get through that. And one of the people in the community, actually an older man and a younger man, had said, they keep coming back week after week to prove to us that this is what they really want. And this is a really hard process to go through. So we can sit here and keep, pushing back, or we could let them do, because this is what they want.
Yeah.
They have the drive. They've done the walks. They've done the lake work. Give them what they want. And it was really nice to see some other people, willing to be like, you know what, look at them. They've come back week after week. Yeah. Tired, very, very tired, because it's in the morning, and I would work Monday nights till about 4 a.m, getting out, showering, waking up, getting dressed, in a certain attire to to show that we wanted to prove ourselves, and then sitting there just like exhausted, being like, when are they gonna call us up? So it was hard, but it was, here we are now,
Did you ever get the feeling of like, I'm not gonna do it anymore? Maybe it's not for me. I'm done.
A couple times.
Yeah. How did you fight through that?
That defeat. There's a lot of tears. I'm not gonna lie. Literally, I was talking about it the other day with one of my coworkers, or my employees. Right? Crazy. So crazy to say. That I was like, this floor has seen a lot of tears, a lot of like frustration, a lot of crying, a lot of just like, what did I get myself into? Like, there was a couple of times, but I also have the great business partners that when one of us would like feel that way, they're like, hey, we got this. Don't worry about it. It's scary. This is terrifying. This is all territory we're not really used to. One has gone through it. So I was very much like, Mel, like, tell me, like, how did you feel? How did you go through this? I'm freaking out. And she's like, it's hard, but we're gonna knock it out. So when someone would feel that, someone else raises up, and it's really awesome. And also, like, a lot of my lighthouse people were there to be like, hey, it's hard, but you're gonna get through it. Don't worry about it. Very like positive, and that was great. Because
sometimes I hate that though. I hate when they say,
"Oh yeah,
you're gonna get through it,"
and I'm just like, "No, I'm not.
Yeah, listen,
let me be mad right now. Let me cry, all right?"
Doesn't feel like I'm gonna get through it right now.
Yeah, it did. Believe me, there was times I did not feel like I was gonna get through it.
Yeah.
There's times I was just like, you're running out of money. You're exhausted because you're working I was working. My mom she works her her normal schedule at 7 a.m. to like 5, 6, and then she go into OT. And I'm just like, how do you do it? How are you doing it? This is crazy. Melanie, same thing. She was bartending, owning, managing, DJing, traveling back from Austin, trying to get a gig. Extra, what you got? Extra 200. We got a bill to pay. You got this. Like, we were paying bills, and this was a shell.
Yeah.
So there was times where I'm just like, what did we do? What did we get ourselves into?
You guys were like pretty much doing the manual labor too, right? For this place.
Yeah. There was a lot of things. Obviously, we had to get things, done that we couldn't do. But also, it's crazy because there's a lot of things that we literally learned
just by
having to try. It was like, fake it till you make it. I'm gonna tell you, but we're gonna figure it out. Like, but I've also lived my life like that, a lot. I've learned things on my own that way, and I'm very much on hands person. So
Yeah, it's something different from having somebody else do it for you because the pride isn't there, I think.
True. Also, it's like, well, I don't got the money, so I guess I have to
Well,
learn.
that too.
I'm about to learn real quick.
Yeah.
You know, so that was also a thing.
And that way, if you have to fix something, you already know how to do it. So
Right. Now I'm like,
it.
oh, well, now I'm certified in
Yeah.
my own certification.
Yeah.
I know how to tile things. I know how to, like, you know, do all these crazy things I didn't know I could do. Like, also trial and error. But we had a lot of people. Like I said, I've been a bartender for so many years. I don't even know how many anymore. But a lot of regulars that were just, like, became family. A lot of people were like, hey, you need someone to help you go paint? Call us. I'm not doing anything during the day. Come through. We had put all these tables together. Some old friends, coworkers that are now work here as bartenders. Hey, let me go help you. Like, we, you know, ex-boyfriends and other friends. And, like, people were like, hey, we have a truck. You got a truck today? We'll go pick up that stuff for you. Like, I don't have a truck. I have a Kia Soul.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you can only fit so much in that thing.
Yeah, exactly.
But there is, you know, like, hey, like, I'm off at this time. You know, a lot of hands.
That's good.
And I'm super blessed and super grateful.
And it looks
Like-
great. So, you know, you guys did something really great.
There was a time when we're like, we were sitting out here before we opened. I was like, hey, man, it looks like we have money. We don't. We surely do not. But it looks like it, you know, like,
Yeah.
but it was all hands on deck. My brothers came through. I'm one of 6, and all of them are boys. So I'm like, hey, I took care of all my entire lives. Let's go. I need hands. And they're
Right.
like, all right, we got you.
You remember
know?
that one time?
Yeah, exactly. My nieces and nephew, you know, we were, cleaning all the chairs off when we first got them, you know, peeling all the plastic. They're, you know, they're young, like
Yeah.
little. And I'm like, I'll give y'all $10 and we'll go see a movie next week. Go pick up this trash. All right, Thea, let's go. You know what I mean? Like, they're like, yeah, you know, like, so it was all hands on deck. My Theos and Theos showed up, you know, with a lot, power washing, you know, the deck, and just all hands on deck. And
Did you always want to be a bartender? I mean, a bar owner?
No. It was just kind of
That's
like.
never in the thoughts.
It was kind of like in the past couple years, I'm like, I could do it. I think I could do it. Maybe. And I just, you know, I've worked for like so many people for so long. I was like, I want to be my own boss one day. And I ain't going into the corporate world. So I guess this is the next step, you know? I mean, I love to bartend.
No.
I love it. Like, I wouldn't have gone into this new step if I didn't love what I did or what I do now.
So how did you get into bartending? Like, did you just... is that something you wanted to do?
Oh, no.
Was that just
Not at all.
Like, I just need a job right now?
No, I was 17. So my mom's a police officer, obviously, but she was a bartender for years. Like, I'm talking like 12 years before she was a police officer. She put herself through school that way, through the academy. And I was in band. It's really geeky to say, right? I was in drumline. There's a difference, okay?
Those are the cool
There's a
ones.
difference. But yeah, so I was in so I had like during after marching season, I had opened up weekends, but I always had a job. I had a job since I was 15. I worked at Fiesta, Texas, was my first job.
Oh, okay.
But even like that was kind of a jump off to what I did, what I do now. I worked in the game, so you always had to like talk to people and be like, hey, you want to play this game and blah, blah, blah.
And convince them to come to you.
Yeah, exactly. So it's kind of started from 15, honestly. And then I remember I went to Holmes High School I went to Holmes and I was, my mom's like, you need another job. You want a weekend job? You need to go work like at a bar.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to be up till 3, 4 in the morning. I want to go hang out with my friends. You know, I want to go hang out with them.
I want to hang out at the bar.
At the bar, yeah. At 17, right? Little Nesia, forever. So she was like, you want to go make some money, some real money? Go get you a part-time job as a cocktail waitress. So I worked at Slick Willie's across the streets of Pool Hall. And it was like my birthday, like 2 weeks before. Like they hired me, and they're like, hey, we're gonna wait till your birthday, but you got the job. So I was like, okay. So I was terrified. That's scary. Like, just cocktailing is different than bartending. You have to go to the people. Hey, what do you need? Blah, blah, blah. Welcome, blah, blah. I've never been a waitress in my life, ever.
Yeah.
And I remember working there, and
You have a good memory?
I'm sorry?
Do you have a good memory?
Not for like the important stuff.
That's what I was thinking. Like,
only for stupid things. People are like, how do you remember? I'm like, I only know food and drinks.
Okay.
I can memorize your entire order, but when it came to school, don't know where that came from.
That's what I was thinking. Is like I feel like if I would ever be a waiter or a bartender or anything, by the time you mentioned that second drink, I already forgot the first one because I wasn't listening to the first.
People tell me all the time, like, how do you remember? I was like, my memory is useless other than for food and drinks. That's it. But so I started there, and I remember it was like a crazy night, like insane packed Friday, and I couldn't get I was supposed to be training, and they were like, hey, we're down 2 people, figure it out. And I was working with like some older like Mexicanas, real rough chicks, and I was like, all right, and they're like, I can't help you, so you need to figure it out. Like that, and I was just like all terrified, all like 18, like I'm school, like I'm still in high school, you know. And I was like, I guess I gotta figure it out. So I started just cleaning things and what do you need and have they got to you yet? It just kind of like went into work mode. And it was my training. So when you train, like you never really make tips or anything because you're in training mode, right?
Yeah.
You're just helping them out. And I remember that night, these like real like rough chicks were like, hey man, you did good, we appreciate you, tip me out about $100, like because they were busy, and if it wasn't for me they would have drowned.
Yeah.
So they're like, guess you could come back tomorrow, you got the job for sure. And I was like, oh my god, I was crazy. So I remember going home at like 3:30 in the morning and being like, this is the craziest thing I've ever done in my life. And I never quit.
Never quit.
Yeah, I never quit. And I just kind of went from, and I started bartending there. Like I was a cocktail waitress for about 1.5 years, and then I think at 19 I started bartending.
How did you have to learn like the fancy new drinks? And because obviously you were saying you have
cocktails here. So not really back in the day. Even now, I'm not really a cocktail girl. I was always, you know, you have the Starfuckers, the Blue Hawaiians, the Long Island iced teas, Adios motherfuckers, those things. So I learned that from, you know, shots, you know, all the shots, green teas, you know, upside down pineapple cakes, all that stuff. I learned just gradually when you cocktail, you start paying attention and like what's in what and how many counts is what and how things taste and stuff like that. And that's just kind of how you learn, like on the job training. Okay. And that's how it kind of started, like transitioned to a bartender. And that's how it kind of happened. Yeah.
Have you ever had, I'm sure you have, like somebody that just comes off with an off the wall kind of.
All the time. Still. Yeah.
What do you do then? Like,
I'm just like, I don't know what that is. Like, do you know? Well, I got it from this other bar. I'm like, that's the problem. I don't know what that bar makes. Yeah. Usually. Google it. Yeah, there's a usual like universal bar stuff, right? Yeah. Like I said, Long Island's, Blue Hawaiians, Starfuckers, you know, just normal things that have been around forever. And then there's like new generation, like even like younger than me that have like made like other stuff. I'm like, I don't know what that is. Y'all know what that is? If you two could tell me what's in it and I got the product, I'll figure it out. You know what I mean? I'm very much like, let's do this together.
If not, it's like, shut the fuck up, here you go.
If not, I'm like, well, I can make you this. You want this? It's similar. What's
and most of the time it's that's fine.
All right, cool, whatever. Yeah. And they're like, dang, that's good. I'm like, yeah, you know, you're welcome.
You're welcome.
You're welcome. But yeah. It's like I said, I've grown up from like doing it from 19. I'm 35 now, so like times have changed, things have changed, shots have changed, drinks have changed. Yeah. Getting to cocktailing, I only learned that maybe in the past, I'm gonna say 10 years, 10 years, because I worked at a wine and bistro downtown for a couple of years. Oh, so I kind of like upscale, $350 bottle of wines. I didn't even know what wine was when I started. And then I kind of learned from there too, because they were really good about before your shifts, these are your new bottles, this is what this tastes like, what this looks like. So I learned a lot of stuff that about, you know, things I didn't know, and learning new cocktails I never heard of before I ever made, and it was cool. It was all like learning experience on job. Yeah. That's how we kind of got to where we are now. And Melanie's the brains of all the cocktails too. So I'm always like, Mel, we need this. She's like, I'll figure it out.
Do you make your own kind of stuff, like a specific Chiflada drink?
So with the cocktails we actually made are very like San Antonio based, but also with a cocktail flair. So we have like obviously pepino. We have it's called Smoke on the Water. It's a mezcal
just
drink.
looking at that.
Yeah, I hate mezcal,
Yeah.
but that drink is fire. Like it's a watermelon aguas fresca
Okay.
with lime juice, simple mezcal, and like rimmed with chile and a watermelon as a garnish, and it's so good.
Dang.
And one of my favorite things is my favorite aguas fresca is melon. That's my
Yeah,
favorite
yeah.
one, like
Okay.
honeydew. And I told before we opened, I was like, Mel, we need a melon drink, like because I'm a drinker. So I've gone to a lot of bars in San Antonio, and we do have aguas fresca like drinks. We have watermelon, we have the cucumber, we have the lime, we have the lemon, but no one has melon, no one has honeydew. And I was like, that's my favorite. I want to make sure we have a staple like that. When we open, we need that drink.
Yeah.
We actually had some friends for the Food and Wine Alliance, like months, like 4 or 5 months before we even opened, that asked us, hey, we know Chifladas is going to open like in a couple of months. Would y'all like to do a couple of cocktails and kind of showcase what y'all are going to be about?
Yes.
So I was like, challenge accepted. I don't know what we're going to do. He was like, can you have it a couple of days? I'm like, sure. No clue. I was like, Mel, I just said we could do something and now we got to do it. And she's
I went too hard too fast.
I went too hard too fast. And usually that's like, that is me as a person in general. I'm just like, fuck it. Let's go.
Yeah.
Like, let's just gear it up. So she was like, all right. I was like, let's do that melon drink. I was like, we're going to go. So they told us that we're going to have to work with tequila, which was like, cool, because we're going to probably be, especially on this side of town, we're probably going to be more base tequila mezcal in this bar, which is
True.
very true.
Okay.
Very true. Like that's what's flying off the shelves. Yeah. So we made two, and people were like, it was VIP section only, so the people that were there were the only people that could get that drink. So people were coming back. This is so good. So I'm like, hey, we knocked that out.
Dang.
And I mean, like 3 days before that thing, we're like, we still haven't gotten drinks yet. And she was like, all right, we'll go to the bar and figure it out. I was like, let's do it.
That's the best way to work. I've always found
I'm
procrastination and on the spot.
How do you think I graduated college? Okay,
Exactly.
I graduated writing my 25 term papers in like 24 hours.
If college taught me anything was
I could do this.
How to deal with procrastination and how to deal with on the spot.
I
stuff.
still gotta be. Damn, I could have got an A on that if I actually
Imagine
took
if I
my
would've
time.
tried,
Yeah, for sure. Sometimes I'm like, who let me graduate? Like, y'all sure y'all got those numbers right?
This is y'all's fault.
I blame y'all. But yeah, so that's kind of how it happened. And then on top of that, she is a DJ, and she goes by Melon, DJ Melon. And I was like, let's play on your name, dummy. Like, come on, that makes sense. Melon, our bar, a melon drink. It makes sense.
Perfect.
And she's like, you're right. Let's do it. So we knocked it out, and that's one of my favorite. That drink is so good. It's Altos Reposado.
Yeah.
It's a tequila with lime juice and a simple and melon aguas fresca, and it's topped with squirt. And it is delicious.
I bet. It sounds good.
It's delicious. And it's for the summertime, too. It's so hot. You want to drink a couple of those because it's so good.
I almost messed right up though at first. I read melon pelada at first. But melon paloma.
Paloma.
That's
So did I write that? Because it might have been me.
no, it was just like real fast. I guess from everything, what has been the one thing that you would not take for granted or feel like would be something you've learned if it wasn't for opening up your own bar? Does that make sense? Like,
yeah,
something that you probably would have never thought you would learn.
Well, I'm very big on being nice to everybody, but I was a hard ass, like annoying asshole when I was a younger teenager, just like didn't care, mad at the world, teenage angst kind of girl. And I got a little bit softer as I got older, and like as I kind of got into this industry, it's like people have a bad day and they just want to go have a drink, or they're sad and they want to have a drink, or they're happy and they want to go have a drink. And your face is the first thing that they see. And if you have a bad attitude or you're just shitty, no one wants to go back.
Yeah.
I don't want to go back.
Yeah.
I'm like, damn, I just got here. I want to have a good time. Not to be I don't want someone to be a dick to me immediately.
Exactly. I don't want my bartender to scare me.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm already scared.
I'll be scary when I need to be scared.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah. Well,
that could switch if I had to.
If you're not being a chiflada anymore, if you're just being a necio.
Exactly, exactly. That could change very quickly. But what I've learned and what is always like what I've noticed, like I said, I was a little asshole when I was younger, but being nice to people really goes a long way. Like, and that's how I like told my staff too, like, hey, from the door person, from you, before they even see us, they need to be greeted like, hey, welcome in, go inside. You know, we have these going on today. This is music. Like, be just nice. Like, seriously, being nice is so easy. It's so easy. And like, you never know whose day, like how bad someone's day having. Like, I've gone through a lot of people that like a lot of friends that passed away, and you know, things that, you know, mentally, like things are not going like well, and like we went through COVID, and that was hard on a lot of people, and just kind of like that mode of always just being nice, even when you're having a shitty day. Sometimes it sucks, but it does change people's like feeling about towards anything, honestly. I've had a lot of assholes. I'm just like, oh, are you doing all right today? And they're just like, yeah. I'm like, okay, well, just check in if you need anything. Let me know. You know, here, I'm here. You know, I'm here to make you a drink. Let me know if you like something, or did you have how was your day today? You know, like those little questions do really go a long way.
Sometimes I wonder why somebody would go to a bar if they're just angry.
Oh, lots of people do that.
But I guess I've never gotten it. Like, I like to drink when I'm happy, which is probably not
maybe a lot of the time.
I'm happy a lot, but if I'm angry and I'm just gonna get a drink, I feel like I go home. I just go home and make a drink.
Yeah, some people are just different.
Yeah, no, and I get it.
Yeah.
I mean,
I've been sad and gonna get a drink multiple times. That was a problem for me for a while. I was like, I'm sad. I'm gonna go get drunk, you know. And
I think maybe I'm not I'm not a social drinker. No, I'm like if I'm feeling sad or angry, like I don't want to be around people.
Yeah.
I think that's why I just go home.
I think I really like to hurt real shit like real in me. You know? So I'm just like, I'm gonna get drunk
see all the other happy
get
people
real sad. I want to get real sad right now. Yeah.
Look at all these happy motherfuckers.
I hate them all. I need another shot. You know?
Okay, I mean, and I'm not. It's not like in judgment. It's just a thought. Like, and I've always been this side of the bar person,
right,
versus you're the other side of the bar.
Right.
So it just does it matter? I mean, to you, I guess it doesn't. Like, you just want the person that's coming in to have a good time and leave safely.
Yeah, that's very important too. Also, like I said, like it's just it's a feeling. Like a lot of people have said too, man, everyone's just so nice, and I'm like, isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
That people are like, everyone's so nice here. Well, what else should we be? We shouldn't be rude or mean.
Well, I mean, I want to say a little bit. And again, not talking mess about the neighborhood. I'm from the neighborhood. But some places in the neighborhood can be a little rough.
Yeah.
Or are rough.
Mm-hmm.
And so maybe the thought is, well, it's a bar on the west side.
Right.
It's going to be rough.
But believe me, we got so many comments about that. There was a lot of write-ups that we were in. And literally, like, I saw, which I shouldn't be reading the comments because I know better. But I am just like no. I'm like, I want to like say everything to everybody, like screw all y'all, but like whatever. People don't know.
So people are gonna be angry. They're not gonna like everything.
People also like just don't like happiness sometimes. They just want to be mad at everybody or mad at the world. I'm like, all right, okay, whatever. Sorry.
They're unhappy because somebody else is doing it.
Exactly. And like I said, like it wasn't like it was easy.
Yeah.
You know, people don't know like the real struggle. We're not out here being like crying about it online or making like lives and being like, I hate this so much, you know, like don't get me wrong, it was a struggle, but like also like this is what we did. Yeah, it takes hard work. But yeah, like I there's a lot of write-ups that I was reading comments saying like, oh, as soon as he said Westside, I was done. And I'm just like, you know, that's what sucks about it. That's what sucks about like some of these people that live in the city or some of these people that are not from here. I'm like, you didn't even give it a chance. You know, that's kind of shitty on you. Like, I want to give things a chance. Like, that's why you go to new restaurants. That's why you go to new places and new bars and new, like, if you don't like it, then just don't come back. But try it, you know? And,
you know, being honest, even when Jaime's first opened, I was a little worried because it was like, oh, it's going to be one of those bars or...
and believe there's a lot of them.
Yeah, but I think it's just because I associate it with what I was seeing
what
around.
You know.
You know what I know.
Yeah.
What I'm saying, like, I was able to go and my mindset almost as soon as walking in there switch.
Change.
Like different. It's a different kind of place. A different kind of vibe. Jaime welcomes you in.
Yep. It's in it like that. That's what I got from him too. And I was like, man, this man is working. He's out there. I've seen him with the dolly pulling beers. I see him with ice pulling
cleaning
ice, cleaning stuff, and like that's a beautiful thing to see. Like to me, like I'm like, wow, like you really care about this place because you put your work into it. It's exhausting. I'm sure he's exhausted. I'm sure he wants to just sit down and relax and go on vacation for a month. Probably won't. because that's how hard workers
Yeah,
do. Like,
no, it probably won't.
you know, like I was having this conversation the other day, and I was like, it's so like they're like it's so weird to see you off, and I'm like, I know, I don't know what to do with myself, and they're just like, but you deserve it. I'm like, yeah, but I want to work. Like I'm a worker. Like that's what I enjoy. I love working. I love making money. I love, you know, talking to people, and it's a transition that I'm trying to like figure out.
Yeah, and
I'm sure same with him. He's been working his entire life. He's used to it.
yeah,
you know,
there's nothing to it. Just living your life.
That
and
comes naturally.
enjoying it.
Yeah.
And to speaking on how I see it here, right before I messaged you about wanting to be, or if you were kind enough to be a guest, I was looking at your stuff online. I was like, man, it looks like a really nice place. I'm gonna drive up and see what it really looks like. And as soon as I drive up, I'm like, wow, this place looks nice. I guess this is a nice place.
Women, baby, women did that.
Hey,
let's call it what it is. Women have that touch. You know, we like.
I agree.
Don't get me
I
wrong.
100%
There's
agree.
a lot of places out there. I'm just like, dang.
If I opened up this place, it wouldn't be called Chifladas. It would be called Tirada. Because I just put it together.
That's how I look. That's how I look most of the time. Not gonna lie.
Oh, but no, it looks super nice. And then right now today, when you open the gate for me and walking in, I mean, you're like almost right off the bat. I felt like I was friends with you.
Yeah.
No,
I'm still trying.
no, but it seemed like you weren't like just like, oh, hurry up, motherfucker, let's get this done. You were like, taking your time and let me take my time and whatever I needed, and that was cool. Like so, I can only imagine guests coming in that would definitely feel welcomed in and ready to have a good time. I can see that. It's a very open space to have that.
Yeah, and we like one thing about us also is we want to no discrimination here. Everyone that was actually like a big thing for us on when we're interviewing. Like, hey, be who you want to be. You want to be this person today. You want to be this person tomorrow. Who cares? Just come and enjoy, have a good time. It doesn't matter. That was much of our forefront. Kind of being raised in Latino households. That's changed a little bit in the past generations of who you are, what you are, who you like, or what you want to, you're dating, it's changed a little bit, and we want to be open, who cares? Live your own life. I'm not losing any sleep over it, you know what I mean? And I get it, generational things are different, and
well, no, and I see it a lot now that there's a lot more openness with our culture now. Like where we're back then growing up, I'm sure we were like, shut up, don't talk about it. But now it's it's a lot more open, a lot more
and people are more free.
Yeah,
you could tell people are just sleep better probably, or happier. You're able to have a conversation and talk about it, and hey, this is what it is, and you might not agree with it, but at least I said it out loud. There's a lot of quietness, growing up, and you don't do that, or you don't like that, or you don't know that, you don't like that person, or you don't know, you're just stuff like that, So it's been cool being on this different gap of being in that era and then being in this other era where everything's just free and out there, and we're like, wow, this is wild. Y'all living a good life over here, but it's also a scary life, being that open, and also being from Texas, and all the things that we have to go through, it's a lot. But if you have a community that, raises you up and wants to be a part of it, then hell yeah,
I think San Antonio as a whole is that, and then being a little biased, I think the West Side for sure. There's some sketchiness. Yeah, there's plenty.
For sure, there's plenty of sketchiness
anywhere. But there's definitely a whole lot of people that just want to, rise up with you.
Yeah.
It's no longer.
It's not who's doing it better. It's just hey, let's all get that bread.
Let's all
Let's all get that bread. I want everybody to make. I want everyone to win.
Yeah.
That's always been something for me. I don't have to have the most money. I just want everyone to have the money.
Yeah.
That's what I've always done a lot of events with vendors and food, and you want to come hustle? Let's go. Let's get that bread. You know what I mean? I'm very much if you're down to work and make money and work hard for it, then you should.
Yeah. You don't have to destroy other people down just to bring yourself up.
100%.
You can maybe be the tallest building, but you don't have to knock out other buildings to go.
Exactly.
I heard that somewhere. I think I stole it from Gary Vee. Anyway. But I know I heard it somewhere. But
we're just a tiny building, we ain't that tall. But
in the Hispanic culture, we grow sideways, not tall.
Unfortunately, I'm a tall Mexican girl, so
Okay.
a tall Latina woman. It's weird for me.
I'm a short Mexican guy.
I'm like the tallest out of my entire family.
Nice.
So, despite my 3 brothers, but yeah.
But no, it took me a while to realize that myself that it's the times have changed now. We're not so much being that crab pulling each other down. I think there's still a lot of work that we have to do as a people. Mm-hmm. But I think we're more like
we're trying to
get better and push each other up.
And I think like when you have these conversations, people listen to them and like, all right, I could see like where they're coming from. Just like, talking to my grandpa, he just passed away a couple of months ago. And just kind of changing his like mindsets about things. And it's just kind of like he sat there and listened. And it's like, that's how we do it. Yeah. Having the conversations, like the small conversations of like why I'm upset about this and why you're upset about that. And just these kind of things is what opens like everybody else's mind.
I agree with that. We can rise like pan dulce.
Love that.
One more final question. I'm going to ask for your too hard, too fast story. But before I ask that, where can people follow you and what is the address to Chifladas?
Okay, you can follow us on Instagram and Facebook. Facebook's Chifladas Cocktail Bar. And on Instagram, we're chifladas.sa on Instagram. Just at chifladas.sa. That's what we are.
And if you're watching the video, it magically came out with the power of
we are at 1804 West Martin.
And el pinche Westside.
On the west side. Love it here. It's been great for the past almost 2 weeks now. It's great to see everybody coming out. We have a lot of support, a lot of community. I love seeing everybody's faces that are just like, wow, this is nice. I'm like, thanks. It took forever. But yeah, it's really awesome for people to like just to like enjoy it and like it's been hard, but it's been awesome.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. All right. A too hard, too fast story. Either it could be a funny story that happened to you, a cautionary tale, or words of wisdom, whatever you feel comfortable sharing with us.
I probably have a lot of too hard, too fast stories. My memory is kind of, unless it's food or drinks. So I just want everyone to come in, check it out, enjoy some awesome cocktails. We have live music. We have so everyone in this community is it's like I said, has a hand. A lot of our DJs are just like homies that I've met through the years. Out one of our friends, hey, you play DJ? Let's go. You want to put it on Thursday? Let's go. Like we're just all about helping each other out. And food wise, if you know anyone that wants to be like a food truck here, please let me know. We've been having a lot of in and outs and like just kind of rotation, but we would love like someone to be here like during the week and on the weekends. Just come check us out. That's about it. Yeah.
Words of wisdom.
Come check us out. We'll be nice. I promise.
We'll be nice.
Maybe depends on how you act.
Yeah. Act like a chiflada. We'll be nice. Act like a necio.
Then you're out. You're out.
Now that's a name that you can't have for a bar.
I mean,
necio,
you kind of
you're just asking for trouble
for sure. I mean, I'm always down for a necio every once in a while. I mean, necios. Yeah. We love them.
They're still welcome.
Well, you're still welcome, but just to an extent.
Yes.
But yeah, that's all I got.
Well, I love it. I'm here for it, and I'm gonna come back for that. Melon paloma. I almost said it wrong. And that smoke on the water. That's just the name
it's
itself.
Delicious, I promise.
Okay, I'm gonna come back for that, and I'll bring my friends. I don't have many, but I'll bring them.
Okay.
But with that said, remember, dare to be you, dare to be weird. Bye.
See you later, man.
Está loco.